gotta be honest about something here. Fast doesn't mean smart. We don't get technical debt from bad tools, right? We get it from rushed decisions with no cohesive strategy. It's like, no shit, we need a cohesive strategy, right? But how do you actually do that? It's much more difficult than actually just saying out loud. Execution requires a ton of discipline and honestly, that strategic alignment at the executive level before you build anything. Let me give you an example that I see happen all the time. Say a team wants to better track KPIs that they're responsible for. So they spin up a tool that allows them to do that. Very fast, leadership loves it. It's a big success story. Now you got another area of the business. It's like, hey, that's a great idea. I want to do that too. And we're like, oh, well, we only have so many licenses for this tool. And they're like, no worries. We'll pick a different tool that kind of does the same thing. And then all of a sudden, someone else wants it, a third department, and finance creates this random spreadsheet that does kind of the same thing. Now we have 3 different tools and no single source of truth. None of these were bad decisions in isolation. However, they weren't moving proactively towards a cohesive technology strategy. Now the business spends more time trying to reconcile all of these different numbers than actually acting on them. So to avoid this, ideally, you would have a centralized tech strategy that's, we want to be able to have better reporting on KPIs across the business. The executive team's on board with that. They know they need a tool for that. Great, awesome. Then the execution layer, which is the architectural team. In my humble opinion, that should report up to the IT CIO team. I'm biased on that. I think that technology strategy doesn't belong with the business. It belongs as a part of engaging in the business's criteria, but still IT needs to have oversight on what tools are being used when. Or we end up with 47 shadow tools and everybody calling them being like, hey, my manufacturing agent is broken. And you're like, what manufacturing agent? So this architectural team oversees all of the things that are being built. We have solution architects, we have enterprise architects, and they're really in charge of how all of these are going together. They're performing audits all the time to ensure that they don't have any of these small solutions being implemented and creating security risks for the entire organization. So the centralized ownership sets the standards in the name of the game, right? The rules, strategy, architecture, standards, value criteria. They do all of that once. So it doesn't have to be a constant negotiation. And then that requires governance to keep those standards. Teams can actually move faster because those guardrails are more clear and they're not something that needs to be discussed and waste time on that every single time. This actually creates more value. So instead of those isolationist wins, our small wins are now compounding to achieve our bigger strategic goals. And technical debt isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? There are fixed costs. It's that unintentional technical debt that gets completely out of control until it's too late and we're trapped in these, SaaS licenses that you have to pay your firstborn child to get out of. With that centralized ownership and cohesive strategy, technical debt is intentional. We know how long it is, what exists, and whose budget is responsible for paying it down. I want to be so clear because I feel like this is where people get taken advantage of by consultants. This isn't easy, right? This level of cohesion takes a very mature organization and a strong leadership team. And I can promise you, being someone that works in enterprise level, billion-dollar-plus organizations, if the organization is not aligned, the tech will never be successful up to its potential.